Okay, so basically, there was an off and on type of, I guess, flirtation going on in February. Prior to that, she gave me her phone number, and basically, I invited her out to my birthday. She didn't want to go, so she ended up getting me a cake the day after my birthday. So, I hugged her. I appreciated what she did. And then, I started to catch feelings for her. And then a week or two goes by, and I gave her some roses, asked her out. She rejected me, which was fine. So then around, I want to say the March timeframe, um, I decided to take my lunch break. This was around the 20th, I believe. No, the 21st actually. And I decided to just call her up, see how she was doing, because I had saw her in the parking lot during my lunch break. She's like, "Oh, what are you up to?" I said, "Well, I'm just going to pick up my daughter at school." I said, "Okay." So decided to keep her on the phone. Just went by whatever the closest school was. I just happened to see her. I was just driving around, so she was waiting for her daughter. I surprised her, like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" So she got surprised from that, and showing her my website of all my artwork and whatnot. So after that, I didn't think anything of it. I felt kind of awkward that I did that, so I just figured I'll just leave it at that. So then some time goes by, um, and then we got a bit of an argument around the 26th of April. She just started acting weird. She started acting just ignoring me and whatnot, and from that point on, I just asked her like, "Why are you treating me like I'm poison?" And I basically, what happened was, when I got upset with her, that's like, "You don't say hi or anything." It's like, "Well, you need to say hi first." I said, "Okay, fine." It's like, "Well, I'm sorry if I yelled at you." So that's fine. I don't care. It's like, "I know you don't care because you're cold and you're mean." And and then I kind of left it at that. Week goes by. She's still upset with me. She gives me the cold shoulder, and I eventually ask her what's wrong. And it's like, "Well, I think it's kind of stupid if you don't remember what happened." And from that point on, I apologized to her. We made up. Um, so that was around the 1st of May. So the 3rd of May, I happened to run into her at a laundromat, and she was showing me the damage to her vehicle. So I didn't think anything of it. She just said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm just getting something from the juice bar next door." I said, "Oh, okay." So we went about our separate ways. That following Monday, which was, I believe, the 3rd of May, I get called to the office saying that I've been suspended for sexual harassment. So there was no sexual harassment involved at all. She just got paranoid of the fact that she saw me there, and she got paranoid, and she figured, okay, well, maybe he's following me. So that wasn't the case. I just happened to casually run into her. That's all it was. And so after that, a week goes by. Around the 13th, I get a call from the store manager saying that oh, well, we need to part ways. They saw it in the camera, say that you didn't pay for a bottle of water. I said, "Okay, yeah." She called me. Dana Mathers from the HR department called me, saying that she saw me in the camera, that supposedly I took a bottle of water and I didn't pay for it. Come to find out, I checked my bank account yesterday, and I did pay for the bottle of water, and it was $2.84. So I just sent the ethics hotline, the ethics email, stating that I was wrongfully terminated for that. So instead of them going off of whatever drop in the harassment, she decided to go off of me not paying for the bottle of water, which I did, and to use that as an excuse to terminate me. So then that's when I got kind of upset, and I let the store manager know, Letty Navarro. I told her, "Okay, well, I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. between the 20th and 22nd, there was some alcohol consumption, and it was raining. And I said, take it as it is. I hung up on her. I was pretty upset. I filed a complaint saying that she drank alcohol at work. This was, I believe, the 20th on a Thursday. And this was between 3 o'clock and 4:30 p.m. She had ran, I guess she went to her vehicle. She came back a few minutes later, and I heard her apron was kind of rattling. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then she walked over towards me, and then she asked me, do you like vodka or do you like whiskey? And I said, vodka. And before I could ask her why, she went in her apron really quick, and she slipped me a small shot bottle of vodka. And I was like, okay. And then she walked over to the assistant manager, and she gave him one as well. And shortly after I took mine out, I tossed it away. I was pretty upset why she would do that. And that's when I say by between 3:30, 4 o'clock, she went in the back area, sanitation area where the back camera is. And she decided to take the swig off of the vodka bottle. And she had her back turned towards the camera about 10, 11 feet away. And she took a sip and she downed the whole thing. And she threw it in the trash can. So at the same time, me and Marcos and Alex, we saw her do this. And I'm sitting there looking at Marcos like, what the hell? And he just shrugged his shoulders like he didn't know what was going on. So I was kind of surprised why she would do that, especially at work. And, a short time later, she gets assigned to mop the floor by Darlene Bernal, which is the deli manager. And then she started feeling kind of sad or depressed. I guess the alcohol magnified her depression. And she started saying that, the reason I can't have relationships because my daughter has mental health issues. That's why I take her to parties. And either way, when she turns 16, she's not going to want anything to do with me. And, I was trying to figure her out. It's like, I didn't know my parents. I didn't know my mother or my father. And I said, well, I'm sorry, you had to go through all that. So, she starts mopping the floor. By the time she gets to the back area, I wanted to make her feel better. And basically, I wanted to cheer her up the best way that I could. And she knows that me and her would tickle each other. So we did. We started flirting. I started grabbing her and making her laugh and, tickling her and whatnot. And then she had finished, mopping. And then shortly by 5 o'clock, she left by 4:30. So by 5 o'clock, I get a text message from her saying, I don't appreciate you stressing me out. Okay. And I said, okay, I text her back. Sorry, I didn't know what you were going through. And now I do know. And then shortly after that, I think that's, I respect her boundaries and I respect her feelings. And then your feelings do matter to me. And then after that, she didn't respond. So that happened, I believe that was the 20th. That's when that happened. The 21st is when I went to go stop by and see her at the school. So this happened on the Thursday, I believe, on the 20th. And so after I spent, I believe after I had gotten, terminated for, breaking store policy, that's when, I decided to file a complaint myself of her alcohol consumption. So this was on the 14th, and they didn't do the investigation until the 19th. So a week goes by. She ends up getting her job back. For whatever reason, they didn't bother to, I guess, look thoroughly through the camera. So I don't know if there was some tampering going on with the video camera itself, or if they decided to just disregard the footage. And she basically got her job back. I went by to see how the guys were doing at deli. I said, hey, what happened with Raina? And they said, oh no, she came back. So I was like, huh. I'm like, okay, I get wrongfully terminated, but then she keeps her job. See, that doesn't make any sense. So then I filed a second complaint stating the fact that even though I forgot to put on the first complaint, that she did actually give one of the vodka bottles to the assistant manager. And pretty much that was submitted, I believe, last Wednesday. So as of now, I don't know where they stand, if they're still investigating, or if they may have just dismissed it. So that's kind of where I'm at now at this point. I would like an apology from Dana Mathers or Letty Navarro or both. And then hopefully I can be assigned to a different store if that ever comes to an agreement, because I did tell them I'm more than willing to transfer to another store to get away from Raina. And that resolution was never brought to my attention. They disregarded my request. And to me, that was also disrespectful why they didn't bother going and saying, okay, well, let's just transfer him to another store. And they said that was an option. So they never fully gave me that option. They just wrongfully terminated for a bottle of water, saying I broke store policy when I actually did pay for the bottle of water when I came back. So, well, matter of fact, it was before I left. So she clearly knows that I was on the camera at that time paying for the water, and she used that against me. Dana Mathers, an HR department.
He said if you report this to the police, I'll have your family